Welcome everyone to English Podcast Time. I'm your host, Mark.
And I'm Deb. So glad to be here with you all today.
Deb, one of the biggest questions we get from our listeners, from English learners around the world, is how to sound more natural, more fluent. And I think we have a fantastic topic today that really addresses that head on.
Oh, absolutely, Mark. Today, we're diving deep into boosting your vocabulary, but not just with single words. We're focusing on daily common phrases. Those expressions native speakers just use, naturally in everyday conversations.
Exactly. And it's so effective. I mean, these aren't just random phrases. They're like the building blocks of real conversation. They help you sound more fluent. Genuinely, you start to understand others better, and importantly, you can respond much more quickly and appropriately.
Right. It's about communication, not just translation, which brings us to our first point. Why phrases actually matter. Mark, why don't you kick us off on that?
Sure thing, Deb. First off, it's all about natural communication. Think about it. Native speakers rarely, if ever, speak in perfect, grammar textbook sentences. We don't. We use short, flexible expressions. It's just how we talk. Like if someone asks how you are, you don't say, "I am feeling well today. Thank you for inquiring about my health." You say, "I'm good," or "doing great."
Yeah, exactly. And secondly, it really impacts your fluency and speed. When you learn full phrases, it actually helps you speak faster because you're not translating word by word in your head. You're just pulling out a chunk of language. It flows so much more smoothly.
Oh, that's such a good point, Deb. It's like your brain doesn't have to work as hard to construct the sentence. It just grabs the whole phrase, boom, out it comes. And then there's the contextual vocabulary aspect, right? Phrases teach you real usage. You're not just getting a definition of a single word. You're seeing how words interact, how they're used in specific situations. It's so much more practical.
Yeah, you get the vibe, the context. It's really important. So what kind of common everyday phrases are we talking about, Mark? Let's break them down by category, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's start with greetings and introductions. These are, your first points of contact. Instead of always just, "Hello, how are you?" try, "How's it going?" It's super common.
Oh yeah, or after you meet someone new, you can say, "Nice to meet you." It's simple, but it's just like standard. And of course, a very informal one that you'll hear everywhere. "What's up?"
Right, what's up? And for someone you haven't seen in ages, you just gotta say, "Long time no see." It's just like a classic.
It really is. Okay, how about small talk, Mark? We all need to master small talk, right?
Definitely, Deb. For small talk, you might ask, "How's your day been?" It's very common, very polite. And a common response, "Can't complain," meaning things are pretty good, nothing really bad to report.
Yeah, or if you've had like a tough day, you might say, "It's been one of those days," implying it was a bit difficult without going into all the details.
Exactly. And if someone tells you something like that, or something you can really relate to, you can just say, "Tell me about it." It's like, "I understand. I've been there."
Moving on to shopping. This is a very practical category. Mark, what are some key phrases for shopping?
For shopping, a good one if you're just browsing is, "I'm just looking, thanks." Simple, polite, tells the sales associate you don't need immediate help. If you find something you like, but it's not quite right, "Do you have this in a different size?" is a must know.
And if you love something, but the price is just too much, you'd say, "That's out of my price range." It happens, And then if you're ready to buy, the easiest way to say it is just, "I'll take it."
Yep, "I'll take it" is definitive. Okay, restaurants next, because who doesn't love to eat out, right? First, when you sit down, "Can I see the menu, please?" is essential.
And once you've decided, you can just say, "I'll have the," and then name your dish. Super straightforward. And if you're with friends, you might need to ask, "Could we get separate checks?"
Oh, that's a very common one, especially with groups. And after a good meal, the ultimate compliment, "Everything was delicious." Simple, effective.
Nice. Okay, asking for directions, a really useful one when you're in a new place.
Absolutely. To find a place, you'd ask, "How do I get to?"
And for giving directions, you often hear, "Take the first left," or "Take the second right." And If it's really easy to find, you can say, "You can't miss it," meaning it's right there, very obvious.
Oh, that's a good one. For phone calls, Deb, what are some key phrases?
For phone calls, you might start with, "Can I speak to?"
Or if someone calls you at a busy moment, you might say, "Could you hold on a moment?" And if you need to call someone back, you just say, "I'll get back to you."
Moving on to expressing opinions. It's crucial in conversation. Mark, how do we do that simply?
To express agreement or light agreement, you can just say, "I think so." Or if you're unsure, "I'm not so sure." It's simple, it's clear.
And if someone says something that really makes sense to you, you can say, "That makes sense." Or if they've made a really valid argument, you'd say, "You've got a point." It's like, "Yeah, I see what you mean."
All right, now for some fun ones, Deb. Let's dive into top idioms you should know. These are phrases where the meaning isn't obvious from the individual words, right?
Exactly, and they're used all the time. First up, a piece of cake. This means something is very easy, like, "That test was a piece of cake."
Oh, I love that one. And then break the ice. This means to start a conversation, especially in a new or awkward situation. We use icebreakers for that, right?
Yep, and if you're tired and ready for bed, you can hit the sack. Like, "It's late, I'm gonna hit the sack."
Or if you're feeling a bit unwell, under the weather, that means you're feeling sick, not seriously ill, but just not quite yourself.
And finally, the ball is in your court. This means it's your decision now. It's up to you what happens next. You've got the power.
So many good ones. Now, slang and informal expressions, Deb, these are really important for sounding natural, even if they're not always formal.
For sure, Mark. First, no worries. This means it's okay or don't worry about it. Super common in Australia and increasingly in other places.
And if someone tells you to chill out, they mean relax. It's just, calm down.
Bummer. That's a short way of saying that's unfortunate. Like, "Oh, it's raining. Bummer."
And if you're spending time with friends, you're hanging out. Let's hang out this weekend.
And a universally positive informal expression, "Awesome." It just means great or fantastic. It's used for everything.
Okay, so we've talked about what to say, but what about what not to say, Deb? Because some phrases, while grammatically correct, can come across really wrong.
This is super important, Mark. For example, instead of saying, "I demand to speak with your manager," which can sound aggressive and entitled, try, "Can I speak with someone in charge?" It conveys the same message, but is much more polite and likely to get a positive response.
Yeah, it's all about tone and perceived intent. Another one, avoiding "you people." That can sound really exclusionary or even prejudiced. Instead, be specific or inclusive. Say "everyone here" or "you all." It's just a much better way to address a group.
And finally, overusing "I don't understand." While it's okay sometimes, if you keep saying it, it can sound like you're not paying attention. Instead, try, "Could you say that another way?" or "I'm not following." These phrases show you're trying to understand, you just need a different approach.
Such good advice, Deb. So we've gone through all these amazing phrases, but how do our listeners actually integrate them into their daily lives? How do they practice daily?
Great question, Mark. First, speak daily. Use apps, join language exchanges, or even interact with AI tutors. The more you speak, the more natural these phrases become.
And listening and repeating is key. Tune into podcasts like ours, perhaps, or watch TV shows. Listen to dialogues from your course books. Just, repeat what you hear.
Yes, and keep a phrase journal. Write down about 5 new phrases daily, and then make sure you review them weekly. This really helps with retention.
And a powerful technique called shadowing.
This is where you repeat sentences exactly as you hear them, trying to match the rhythm and intonation. It really helps with pronunciation and flow.
So, as a suggested prompt for our listeners, using the vocabulary and expressions from this guide, try to create a 10-minute conversation between two people meeting for the first time in a coffee shop. Really try to incorporate some of those idioms, common phrases, and small talk we talked about today.
That's an excellent challenge, Dev. And just some final tips to wrap things up. Remember to learn phrases in chunks, not just individual words. That's been our whole point today.
And practice speaking daily. Consistency is really the secret sauce.
Don't fear mistakes. Fluency truly comes with confidence and repetition, not with being perfect right away.
Exactly. Focus on understanding and being understood, not on perfection. The goal is communication after all.
The fantastic advice, Deb. This has been such a practical and helpful episode for anyone looking to sound more like a native speaker.
I certainly hope so, Mark. These phrases are really the bridge to sounding natural and connecting with people.
Well, that's all the time we have for today on English Podcast Time. Thank you so much for joining us, Deb.
My pleasure, Mark.
And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. We hope this episode helps you boost your English vocabulary and confidence. We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.